Hello, good morning YouTube. Sa wakas, umaraw na rin. Dalawang linggo din tayong hindi nakapagmotor. Hanggang garahe lang, pa-start lang ng Vespa. So, dalawang linggo tayong hindi nakapagmotor. Kasi nga dahil dyan kay Krising, Emong and Dante, sumabay pa rin si Matinding Habagat. Haba tuloy ng bakasyon ng mga bata. Nabakasyon din ako sa pagmumotor. Kaya wala tayong masyadong upload. Medyo naipon na yung ating mga topics. Pero hayaan nyo lang, isa-isa rin nating madidiscuss yan. In the meantime, enjoy muna tayo sa pagbabalik motor. Gandang araw. Although sabi sa AccuWeather, may chance of rain around 10 AM and 11 AM I think. Tingnan natin. Samantalahin lang natin yung araw. Gandang araw ngayon. So usually kapag Thursday morning, ang schedule ko is Hospital de Makati. But today I need to go to Fatima Antipolo first to see a referral. Ang referral is assessment of right lower quadrant pain in a pregnant patient. So later we'll discuss the case. Touchdown, Fatima Antipolo. Tignan muna natin ang patient. Then let's discuss it later. Okay na tayo dito sa Fatima. Punta naman tayo ng Makati. So daan tayo Marcos Highway, then C5. Case discussion episode 5 tayo. Let's go. Medyo malakas ang hangin. So we'll be discussing a case of a 29-year-old female who is on her second pregnancy, 19 weeks age of gestation. Nasa second trimester na siya. She presented with right lower quadrant pain. On history, bigla na lang nagkaroon ng sharp right lower quadrant pain. Patient did not present with nausea and vomiting, no fever, no epigastric pain. Wala din siyang right lower quadrant migration of the pain. Bigla na lang siyang nagkaroon ng sudden right lower quadrant pain. Walang dysuria. The bowel movement is regular and flatus. So walang abdominal distension. On physical examination, patient was awake, focusing on the physical examination of the abdomen. So 19 weeks, so gravid abdomen. You can palpate the uterus, gravid uterus. Soft siya, no? Soft all over. Meron lang slight direct tenderness on the right lower quadrant area or almost level of the umbilicus. Soft pero may light direct tenderness. No rebound tenderness. So right lower quadrant pain in a pregnant patient. So ano kayang possible differential diagnosis? So number 1 sa list is appendicitis. Right lower quadrant pain kasi. So appendicitis, that's 1. 2. Pwede bang UTI? Urinary tract infection? Possible. Ano pa kaya? Is it possible na merong complication with the pregnancy? So, pwede, di ba? Is it something? Pero if it's complication ng pregnancy, dapat bleeding. If you'll ask my opinion, di ba? Pero sige, differentials lang naman. Pero isang possible differential which is connected to her pregnancy is baka may stretch lang yung uterus or may na-stretch lang na ligament sa pelvic area or pelvic floor or even the abdominal wall, diba? Kasi gravid abdomen gravid uterus, lumalaki yung uterus so at the same time lumalaki rin yung abdomen, baka man na-stretch lang na part, which is pwede. Right lower quadrant pain. So ano bang approach? So we have the usual laboratory test, complete blood count, and urinalysis. So initial complete blood count, normal naman ang hemoglobin. White blood cell count is around 11. And ang segmenters or neutrophil count is 0.73. Ang normal neutrophil count is 0.7, yung kanya 0.73. So there is slight leukocytosis with slight predominance ng segmenters. So we need to be sure if it's appendicitis or not, because untreated appendicitis leads to serious complications, even mortality, lalo na sa pregnant individual. So we need to be sure kung appendicitis or hindi. For appendicitis, we usually compute for the Alvarado score or Mantrel score. Mantrel's is a mnemonic for the signs and symptoms of appendicitis, and based on the score malalaman natin kung appendicitis unlikely ba siya or talaga bang appendicitis. So isa-isahin natin. Ano ba yung Mantrel's? M stands for migration of pain to the right lower quadrant. Wala siya nun. Hindi naman siya nag-present ng epigastric pain or vague abdominal pain with migration to the right lower quadrant. She did not present that. So 0 points yun. Next is A. A for anorexia. Again, 0. N for nausea and vomiting. No nausea and vomiting. So 0. Next is letter T for tenderness. Tenderness sa right lower quadrant. She presented with slight direct tenderness on the right lower quadrant. In fact, you can only elicit it on deep palpation. Pero soft abdomen. Pero sige, since may tenderness siya sa right lower quadrant, let's count it as 2 points. So what's next? R for rebound tenderness. Negative for rebound tenderness. So 0. What's next? E for elevated temperature or fever. No fever. So 0. L for leukocytosis. She has slight leukocytosis. Nasa 11 ang count niya. The normal is 10. So slight leukocytosis. Let's count it as 2 points. And after L is S, which is shift of the white blood cell count to the left, meaning tumaas ba ang kanyang neutrophil count based dun sa kanyang initial complete blood count, elevated ang kanyang neutrophils. If ang normal value is 0.7, ang initial results niya was 0.73. So dapat 1 point yun, di ba? So if you compute now, if you add the points now, 2 plus 2 plus 1 is 5 points. 5 points or 5 or 6 points equivocal yan for appendicitis. Usually, if patient presents with equivocal appendicitis, we always request for a plain CT scan. So we go for imaging to see or check if the appendicitis is inflamed or if there is appendicitis. Ang problem lang is patient is pregnant. So the question now is, would you request for a CT scan for this case? Ako personally, parang hesitant ako mag-CT scan. Although there are literature saying it's safe to request for CT scan in a pregnant patient. May certain guidelines. Other literature would say better nga ang MRI. If you discuss it with a radiologist or a CT MRI specialist, sabihin nila mas preferred nila ang CT scan over MRI. Ako personally, parang hesitant muna ako mag-request for CT scan. Instead, routine for me to request for ultrasound muna. So we can request for an ultrasound of the right lower quadrant and pelvis. For this case, ang request is ultrasound of the whole abdomen. So ultrasound muna, which I think is most safe. By the way, you can write your comments below if you have a different opinion. Sa ultrasound kasi, if the sonologist can identify the appendix, minsan nakikita nila yon and they can give the diameter size. Usually pag more than 5 mm ang diameter, they will readily say na the appendix is inflamed. The mere fact na na-identify siya by ultrasound, I would think appendicitis siya. Ang dilemma lang is, if hindi identified ang appendix, hindi nakita by ultrasound, does it mean hindi siya appendicitis? Ruled out na ba ang appendicitis? Hindi din. No, yun ang dilemma. Hindi porke hindi nakita ang appendix hindi na siya appendicitis. No, that's not the way of interpreting the ultrasound for appendicitis. Pero pag nakita ang appendix, identified ng appendix, lalo na with the diameter of more than 5 mm, appendicitis siya. So sana gets niyan. For this case, unfortunately hindi nakita yung appendix, so malamang hindi siya maga. Pero I'm not saying na hindi siya appendicitis. I cannot totally rule out appendicitis based on ultrasound. So So urinalysis was done pala for this case, and the results was normal. So ruled out ang urinary tract infection. So I saw the patient. Wala na siyang nararamdamang pain. In fact, patient is up and about. You can get up from bed, transfer to the wheelchair, or go to the bathroom na parang normal lang. So she did not present with the usual appendicitis walk or AP walk. So mukhang walang peritonitis going on, no? Though ang physical examination on deep palpation sa right lower quadrant, parang may direct tenderness, negative rebound, up and about, parang walang signs of peritonitis. Alvarado score namin kanina was 5. I suggested to repeat the complete blood count. Ang repeat blood count, the WBC count is still the same at 11, pero ang neutrophil count niya normal na. So if you compute again for the Alvarado score, nasa 4 na lang siya. Appendicitis unlikely. So ano na ngayon? So ako, this is how I will approach the case. Patient is okay, walang fever. In fact, right now, very comfortable. So hindi ko muna siya iisiping appendicitis. Given the scenario, i-tag ko muna siya as a non-surgical abdomen at this time, no? Alanganin. Unfair also to say na, oh, it's appendicitis, you need to undergo an operation, you need to undergo appendectomy. Unfair yun. So I talked to the patient and husband. I explained the situation. I told them the findings. So I discussed with them the differential diagnosis, and I told them based on my findings and computing for the Alvarado score, it's unlikely to be appendicitis, but I cannot totally rule out appendicitis kasi baka mamaya beginning appendicitis pala, or sometimes kasi alam mo appendicitis, it's actually caused by an obstruction sa lumen ng appendix. Sometimes yung obstruction parang nag-ball valve dun sa opening ng lumen ng appendix. So at this time, non-surgical siya, but since baka possible na nag-ball valve na appendicitis, or baka very early or beginning appendicitis siya, warrants observation, diba? So tama lang na inadmit yung case and in-observe. Ang ginawa ko, I suggested to resume the diet kasi patient is hungry na eh. Wala ngang anorexia, diba? So patient is hungry. Eh ang hirap pa naman sa case niya. She's being treated for gestational diabetes, so difficult i-manage yung both mother and fetus. Baka kasi magkaroon ng hypoglycemia on prolonged NPO. So might as well resume the diet, then observe. If talagang mag-present siya ng appendicitis, which is sometimes by physical examination alone, talagang may direct rebound tenderness, may peritonitis, and sometimes doon sa area ng right lower quadrant or sa level ng umbilicus. Depende kasi kung nasaan location na yung gravid uterus eh. Habang lumalaki yung uterus, habang nagpo-progress yung pregnancy, syempre it pushes the adjacent structures like the appendix or the cecum, where the appendix is usually attached. Syempre tumataas din ang location yan. So for her, 19 weeks old, nasa almost level na ng umbilicus. Kung talagang appendicitis yan, it would really present with direct rebound tenderness on that area. Sa right, para umbilical area. If that happens, doon ako mag-o-offer ng surgery. Kung ang usual appendectomy incision is sa may McBurney's or Rocky Davis incision, or gaya nga ng ginagawa ko for some of my patient, bikini incision, for pregnant patients, hindi na doon you will place the incision at the point of maximal tenderness, kung saan pinakamasakit, doon mo ilalagay incision. Yun ay if on observation bigla siyang mag-progress to appendicitis. But right now, sabi ko sa patient and sa relative, let's just do observation. In fact, I suggested to repeat the complete blood count again. Let's see kung magpo-progress ba or baka back to normal na yung levels, lalo na ng WBC count. We'll manage it conservatively. No? Again, if it's appendicitis, it will present as such. So, kaya tama lang na we observe the patient for another 24 hours. So, that's our case for today. Medyo tricky, no? It's probably just a stretch uterus or ligament sa area adjacent to the uterus, or stretched muscle or abdominal wall layer, something na nabanat lang, or since medyo gravid ng kanyang abdomen, baka may namaling kilos lang, so pwedeng musculoskeletal strain. Observation lang muna tayo. So that's how I will approach this case. If you have a different opinion or any comments, please don't hesitate to write it below. Para ano pat nagdi-discussion tayo. So that's our case for today. I hope you learned something new from our discussion. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. See you in my next video. Thank you for watching.